What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirkman, as always, by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. And it is, of course, brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. We're here to recap possibly the most exciting week of NFL football that we've had all season long. Week 13 featured two of the biggest upsets of the season, both in terms of the spread going into the week, as well as the outcome and how that affected playoff seeding. And then we almost had another massive upset in Sunday Night Football. Some great Thanksgiving football, some great Black Friday football. Matt, Theo.
But some particularly great Saturday at noon football, if we're being completely honest. Ohio State beat Michigan in glorious fashion. I'm not going to lie to you. There was a point in this game where it very much looked like Ohio State was going down that path again. First play on offenses, or first play defensively, giving up a big 40-yard chunk run to Michigan. First series, Sayan throws a really bad interception. You're like, come on, man, this can't be how we're doing it again. But you know what? I think last year when they made some mistakes, they shelled up. They just wanted to run the ball. They got scared of, getting it to their best players and just played not to lose, and that cost them. In this game, they immediately made some mistakes, and they didn't play scared. After the first interception, Sayan had a nearly perfect game from my account. I was really happy with him. The offensive line was phenomenal, in part because I thought Sayan did a really good job navigating the pocket, but also because they just did a good job holding up against Michigan's pass rush. Ohio State's run game came alive once they started opening things up. Bo Jackson had a really good game. He's come along as the season's gone on and deserves a lot of credit. Tate had a touchdown. Jeremiah Smith.
Lamar Jackson.
It's Lamar Bo Jackson, I believe.
Is it Lamar Bo Jackson? No.
Yeah. So pretty
that might
sick.
Be cooler.
He was making it to the league from a young age.
Jeremiah Smith also had a touchdown that was
a
the
fumble.
Correct call.
No, it was not.
It absolutely, and I completely.
Wait, Theo. I want to hear why do you think it's a fumble?
Because he lost control of it after catching it, so it's a fumble.
What define lose control?
Like it squirts out of his hands and he's bobbling it around as he crawls. Yeah, it's fully out of his hands. It's literally in the air between his hands. Yes,
no, it's no. See, this is where I disagree with you.
It's
go back, go watch that play right now. Go look at it on YouTube right now. The issue here's why it didn't get overturned. There is a moment where, for an instant, the ball is moving in his hands, right, as he's going like into the end zone. The issue is that if the instant that it moves at all, it's considered a fumble. Then the instant that it's pinned at all and stops moving at all, he has possession of it. It's not a catch. He doesn't have to.
He didn't. It's not moving. He literally catches it and it doesn't move at all. It pins to his chest. He tucks it away. He hits the stiff arm. Then it pops out of his hands. Like that's not the process. You're not listening to what I'm saying. And then literally here he separates his hands and the ball is not in his hands whatsoever.
And then what? And then it's pinned against his chest for a second.
And then his foot is out of bounds. So it's by the time he gets it back, he's out of bounds.
No. When it's pinned against his chest, his foot is inbounds. And you can't tell whether or not he's crossed the line or not. Calls upheld on field. They got that one right.
Yeah. So
they bailed him out.
This is the thing.
No, they didn't. You're wrong.
Theo, Matt is right here. The thing that you have to remember is that when you become a runner, the only thing you need to score a touchdown is you need to cross the plane with a singular moment of having possession.
And he doesn't have that. He loses the ball right before his foot hits at the 2-yard line.
You cannot prove without a shadow of a doubt
after he
for the entirety of the time that he is in the end zone, he doesn't have possession.
He doesn't, dude. He doesn't.
No, you're wrong. After he starts bobbling it, you can see him pin it against his chest. There's
but he
no
doesn't
way
have
you're not
it.
seeing
It keeps
that.
bobbling. He never has possession.
He has possession for even a split second.
Here's the issue.
He doesn't fumble it twice. When it's bouncing around on the ground and someone like has their hand on it, that's not control of a fumble. Like it's someone almost has it.
Here's the issue. Here's the issue.
Maybe
your standard for it being a fumble is the ball moving at all? But your standard for him having possession is the ball not moving? You can't have it both ways. When it starts moving in his hands, that's a fumble. The instant it stops for any moment, it is then He has possession.
That is not how the fumbles work, bro. It pops out of his hands.
But I would even argue that it's not. I would even argue that it's not a fumble because it doesn't actually like him. There is not enough like lack of control for it to constitute him losing possession.
Yes, it does. It's fully out of his hands. I can see air on all sides of the ball. That's losing it. That's a fumble, and then he gets it back out of bounds.
There is most certainly a point where it looks like he's crossed the plane and it is not air on all sides.
Yeah, because he's juggling it all around in that point. It's still a fumble. He doesn't have control of it.
He pins it against his chest and it goes to readjust and then goes to readjust his hands again.
Look at it at full speed. He fumbles it and
I've seen it at full speeds, brother.
I mean, shoot, dude, at full speed, it doesn't even look like a fumble. It just looks like a touchdown.
Yeah, it just looks like a sick ass touchdown where he breaks a guy's ankle.
That is true. At full speed, and that is why it wasn't the worst call in the world, is because
it wasn't the worst call in the world because I got it right.
Because at full speed, it really is just like, oh, he lost it for a moment. He juggled it for a moment. And then it does look like a touchdown.
No debate. If we're talking like spirit of the game, he didn't fumble. That's not even a fumble at all. Obviously, that's not even remotely a fumble if we're talking spirit of the game.
We're talking spirit of the game. If we're talking exact spirit of the game.
If we're talking exact technical like minutia point, whatever you want to do.
That is where we're at in sports right now. It's technical minutia point. Like that is the standard with replay.
Right. And the second that he had it, you can't tell if he's in or out. So touchdown, Buckeyes.
Look, I rock with it doesn't matter. I really don't think it does.
It doesn't matter, and yet it is a touchdown anyway.
It doesn't matter, and it's not a touchdown. Does Michigan have any good players? That was my wondering when I was going through this game.
No, they don't.
How are they ranked even number 18? Like, where's the juice in the Michigan program?
Like, the defense was super impressive too. Especially like they held Bryce Underwood to a terrible game, and they did a great job keeping him in the pocket. Their contain in this game was awesome. Caden Curry played a monster game. Kenyatta Jackson had a great game.
I love Kenyatta Jackson.
I was really impressed by that. My number one concern is that like it would be like last year, except this time they had a quarterback who could just like run around and create a bunch of scramble drill moments and punish, even good coverage with just, always keeping them on pace. They didn't allow that at all.
This is a great weekend for JJ McCarthy. Underwood is worse than him and Brosmer is worse than him.
We'll see what Underwood looks like going forward, but like this is a pretty brutal game for a guy that they're paying, a ton, right? Albeit he's throwing to not great receivers, in my honest opinion, against the best defense in college football, in my opinion. But I'll say this. About 365 days ago, Ryan Day put forth a horrific coaching performance and had the worst loss I've seen Ohio State ever take pretty easily. Yeah. And he since then has rattled off 16 straight, has won the national title, and now has him at number 1 overall, undefeated going into the Big Ten championship game. And honestly, like if they don't win the national title, it's not the end of the world. You've accomplished a lot of goals, of course, but man, it really feels like they should.
It really feels like they should. I don't know. I don't think Indiana's got nearly the horses that Ohio State does. So if they lose at any point in this playoff, maybe Oregon can get them. But if they lose,
there's a lot of teams that I think could get them in a game. Football is a crazy sport, but if OSU is running the ball well too, man, they're pretty dang complete. And they've just got like uber stars all over the place. I mean, the wide receivers are insane. Reese and Downs and McDonald are insane.
Man, unless I'm missing someone crazy on defense for Indiana, I think their receivers are like definitely the strong point of their team. Like Surratt and number 3, whose name is slipping my mind.
Indiana's a very good team. I think they're going to give Ohio State a good fight. I don't think that's I don't know what the spread is on that game, but I can't imagine it's.
Dude, I think Ohio State would kill Indiana if they played.
They're going to.
They're going to. So I guess
about it. They're going to play here in like days. So
yeah, they are.
I think Indiana is going to be the toughest opponent that Ohio State has faced yet. But I also don't think that Ohio State is like fraudulent because they haven't faced any tough opponents. Pretty clearly, this is a psycho team.
Maybe they.
But I just got to say,
maybe they can get to say it. And
I think it is more important than the national title, beating Michigan. As I was watching it, it just is. Right. I'm watching it with Dad.
You would know more than me here.
And it was, I don't know.
For as long as State fans, it's definitely bigger, I would say.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, they can't lose to Michigan again.
They can't. They could not lose this game. And it wouldn't be funny at all.
That's the thing is, like, it should be such an easy win that it's kind of hard to say it would be, like, the same as running the college football playoff and winning the title. Like, that's so much harder than beating Michigan. But, like, they just can't lose, you know? Like,
they can't lose. You can't lose to these guys. And when they went to go play Notre Dame, like, I wasn't as nervous as I was for this game. When they went to go play Oregon in the national title or Alabama in the national title, I wasn't nervous for those games like I was nervous for this game or last year's or any of the years before that, if I'm being completely honest. So, I don't know. Saban gets mad when you suggest that this game is a big deal and says that the game shouldn't be taken seriously, but I hate to say it, he just doesn't get it.
College football announcers do not get it pretty constantly. Like,
well, first off, I mean, the game was ridiculously slow. Tuning into the pregame stuff when it's like you go at 12, finally I'll turn it on after pacing in my room all morning, and it's like Dave Portnoy. It's like, I'm going to lose my mind.
I don't know how many, like, college football has an assortment of pundits. Who are crazy people.
Whatever. I just, like, with all the trash talk about what type of team Ohio State is, to go out there, regain control, hit your big plays, and then go on a 12-minute drive where they just can't get you off the field, and then just to hit that chip shot field goal to basically end the game and make it a 3-score. That was beautiful because I have seen Ohio State be on the other end of that so many years in a row now. Mm-hmm. And now they're the tough ones who ground out a team that was soft, and now Michigan had to go defend their logo instead of defending it, during the game or whatever was said last year. So it was a glorious win. It's as good as it gets.
It was a crazy college football weekend. The other thing I want to talk about is Kiffin. That is sickening to me. That whole story. How on earth do you leave the team before the playoffs? Can anybody answer this?
Well, I guess the idea is that the window to, like, really move teams is right now as the season's ending, right? Because for most teams it's ending, so most coaching moves are going to happen at this moment. And Kiffin wanted to, like, have his cake and eat it too, where he wanted to take the LSU job and finish coaching. And when they'd said, no, you got to choose, he picked the lead.
I can't go to LSU. If you had a shred of integrity, would you say, if I'm one of the 12 lucky teams to be in the playoffs, it's not the year to change jobs? If you had a shred of integrity, is that what you'd say?
I don't know. I mean, I remember back when Cincinnati made the playoffs in the 4 team, Fickell was getting, like, maybe he could have gone to Notre Dame, I think it was, which would have been a pretty major upgrade, and he didn't do it. But that was the 4-team playoff. Now with 12 teams in, I
don't remember Kalen DeBoer abandoning Washington before the playoffs.
It's pretty weak. If I was an Ole Miss fan,
it's super fucking weak. And I don't want to hear about the schedule, and I don't want to hear about, like, oh, well, coaches can fire whoever, whenever. Oh, well, are you mad when a player leaves in free agency? Like, I would if Jalen Hurts left the Eagles before the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, that would be fucking weak. That would be lame. Yes. If Jordan Love left the Packers after week 17 and they were in the playoffs, I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? We need you. Yeah. Duh. That's so lame. And then to say, oh, the GM wouldn't let me take the other job and coach the team. Like, you can't have 2 jobs at once, bro. Like, it's not that crazy of a concept.
Just the whole saga of it, too. It's really got dragged out pretty majorly, I feel bad for the dudes playing for that team. Yeah, that kind of stinks.
Like, it's so lame. Like, and it's not going to work for LSU, I promise. Like, oh, Lane Kiffin knows how to draw up an RPO 6. So do 100 million other coaches in the world.
Nope, he's the only one, man.
He's the only one. Like, I get he has success. I get that he's obviously he's done a good job at Ole Miss this year, but does it matter? He just left before the important part. Why isn't he going to do the same to your team if you have a good year?
Well, LSU maybe feels like they could be a final destination for somebody, but
yeah, like Brian Kelly. Yeah. He went from Notre Dame to LSU. How did that go for him?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me, these college coaching carousels, like 0 sense to me whatsoever.
I mean, now there's so much money that goes into it. It's really tough to tell, but I feel bad for Ole Miss. And if they get dropped in the rankings because now they're considered a worse team, I mean, I just can't stand that. I can't abide by it.
Oh my God. And they probably will be.
You know what's going to be crazy? I mean, they're ranked like 7 right now. So they could conceivably get dropped in the rankings like exactly enough to get their home game taken away. I don't know if the committee will actually do that, but
at the very least, I don't think they'll do that to them, but I do think like it's going to affect like maybe a home field situation, like a matchup situation. Like it's going to affect their ranking.
Right. They could get their game taken away in the sense that like,
and fuck, they talk about this calendar. Oh, it's the calendar's fault because the calendar, you have to start rebuilding now if you're LSU. So if you want the LSU job, you have to take it now. So Lane Kiffin had to go now. Doesn't this fuck up Ole Miss's calendar? Like, what are they going to do?
Like it does. I don't know, dude. I don't know. This side of college football is
it's a wasteland.
It's crazy.
It's mercenaries. It's just a whole sport full of mercenaries. And here's the thing, like it's a little crazy, and it's a little bit crazy that it's happening just when a bunch of dudes are there to get educated. It's not the worst like vibe in the world.
And what makes me sick? These guys are here to learn.
It's a little bit weird that it's happening at like NC State and Duke and whatnot. Like these prestigious universities are the grounds where this is happening. But it's not the worst vibe for a sport to have. Like all of this disloyalty and scurviness and whatever it is. Like I don't think it would be a problem if it wasn't like a bunch of 17-year-olds maybe who were going through all this. Like maybe kind of exploiting, or maybe you're not exploiting it. It's kind of weird, but yeah. I watched ASU versus Arizona. That was a horrific game. And RG3, that guy is not a good announcer, I'm afraid. That was just unwatchable, unlistenable slop, the Territorial Cup. I mean, Arizona won pretty easily, so like for them it was a good watch and shout out, but yeah, that was not happy. But anyway,
it's never a good watch when you're the team that loses.
No.
So shout out Ohio State, shout out Ryan Day. For doubting you, I will go forward living my life with enthusiasm and love instead of
one of my favorite YouTube
doubt,
titles,
pessimism.
One of my favorite YouTube titles ever is saying, "I understand it now" actually works with this guy looking shocked. That was Ryan Day after the last Michigan game. I understand.
He really did. He locked in and changed as a coach. He's much improved from where they were last year. And as a whole, I mean, like with his hires and whatnot, this is a team that lost both their coordinators. And I mean, there was times where Ohio State's defense just completely fell apart because of bad hires. Instead here, like they lost so much talent on defense last year. They had an insane number of guys get drafted and they come back. This year's defense is better. This year's team, to me, on paper right now it's better. Ohio State lost 2 regular season games last year.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Do we want to get to the NFL though?
Yes, we do.
Let's get to the NFL and we'll just go in order here. Green Bay, Detroit, Jack White. But the Packers come out on top. 31-24, Amon-Ra St. Brown went out early in this one, and obviously that's going to be a big storyline for the rest of the Lions season here. But Jordan Love, 4 tutties, man, and there was one I remember vividly, outside to the left to Dobbs, and I was just like, oh yeah, dude, if he
hit a lot of really good throws in this game.
If he's hitting throws like this on time like that, just perfect placement, yeah, they're gonna win that game.
He is so fucking disrespected. Like, seriously, like I really think that, I mean, he's as valuable to the Packers as any quarterback is to their teams these days. Like, I don't know if he's the MVP. He's had some stinkers, but they lose when he has stinkers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it takes great performances like this, honestly, for them to win. And this was a great performance. And I just feel like he leads the league in EPA per play. And that's a stat that, like, look, advanced analytics are advanced analytics, and they're not the whole story. And when a player does something bad and they have a good EPA per play, it's easy to say, like, who cares, right? Like, who cares about this advanced box score, and who cares? And really all it is just a very basic measurement of, like, if a play was good or not, honestly. Like, it's an acknowledgement that, like, a 1-yard touchdown run isn't as important as a 99-yard play to get down there or something. How much it impacts the chance of scoring is how much EPA you get. So when you do a bunch of positive plays, you get a lot of EPA, and that's better than yards. It's better than touchdowns. It's better than completion percentage or touchdown to interception ratio, Matthew Stafford. It's as good of a stat as we have. And Jordan Love is number one in it. And he's just a good quarterback. Like, he steps up when he needs to step up. He goes off the back foot when he needs to go off the back foot. He threatens every blade of grass on the field. He doesn't get sacked very much. He can scramble. Like, he really has protected the ball pretty well this year. He's had some bad turnovers, certainly. The strip sack versus Dallas, the interceptions versus the Panthers, at least the first one was pretty inexcusable. Like, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, he's just good. I mean, he does a lot of things at a really, really high level right now. And I'm glad he's the Packers quarterback. And the scary part about him is he gets better as the year goes on, which, again, is branded as a joke, right? Oh, it's Toyota-thon. I feel like if it's funny, shout out Pablo Escobar. It is funny. But if other quarterbacks, like, raise their level of performance in December, like, they'd probably just get called clutch instead of Toyota-thon merchant. I just feel like there's all these ways that people discredit Jordan Love, and, like, none of them are very valid. And he's as good as a quarterback as I think there is in the NFC, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think Jordan Love's a very good quarterback. I agree. I mean, for as much talk as some people, including myself, make about the tomatoes that he potentially throws, he does only have like 3 interceptions on the season right now, you know? And I completely agree. When I'm watching football with the family for Thanksgiving, the overall vibe, pretty critical of quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. The general thought, everybody stinks. None of these guys can play. But Jordan Love was getting some praise from a tough crowd. I thought he was really good. I thought some of the pockets that he was standing in, some of the throws that he were hitting were super tough and super high level and super on the money. He clearly, has good feel. And while sure, there's some times that he fades off his back foot and it's a little light because of that, I do think he can use that for good more than bad. I completely agree with your point on that. So, yeah, I was really impressed by that, and I'm really worried about the Lions. You know, we were upset because we recorded our Thanksgiving episode on Tuesday, and the Ragnow news came out after we recorded. Well, now we're recording for the first time since that news, and he failed his physical. He has like a hamstring strain that's like so bad it keeps him out for the year, so he's not going to be able to rejoin
torn in
him.
Half. Great.
He basically tore his hamstring. Which, like, it's insane because I know a guy that tore his hamstring in track, and I'm like, shit is so painful. Like, how did he walk, dude? I'm so confused.
I'm so confused as well. Like, he must have gone in there knowing something isn't right, right? Like, my comment section was speculating he did it for the insurance money. I'm like, I don't know why he'd need to do that, but like, or he wanted like free rehab for the Lions. Like, I don't even think so. I think his body just hurt his entire career, and they needed him, and he just like wanted to come compete for the Super Bowl run with his legs feeling like shit, and then was like, damn, like, I really have been walking on a torn hamstring this whole time. Like, I'm sure he's constantly playing injured. That's why he retired in his prime in the first place. So maybe his other muscles could like compensate for like a bad hamstring. Like, I don't know. I'm not a sports medicine guy. I guess if
he's been doing it for so long that he's just been like, I guess I'm just like used to the pain.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Pain is pain to you at that point. If it's a torn hamstring or like a bruise on your arm, like it's kind of all the same at that point.
Who knows?
So maybe, he just like didn't know.
It does suck for the Lions, though. I mean, I've been saying that like Goff's performance under pressure this year is like really regressed from where it was last year. And I don't, Goff has always been a bit of a statue, but now the line is worse and Ragnow is gone and you've gone up against kind of a murderer's row of pass rushers and Micah just wrecked the game. Mm-hmm. So like they could have really used an all-pro lineman walking back through those doors.
You could have.
Yep, absolutely. And I think the Goff pressure stuff definitely can be an issue. And, it helped the run game too, which hasn't necessarily been super consistent this year at all. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm pretty worried about Detroit going forward. They're 7-5. I don't believe they're in the playoff picture right now. The playoff picture in the NFC is brutal. For the record, the Bears are sitting at the 1 seed right now. They're 9-3. The 49ers are sitting at the 7 seed right now. They're 9-4. It's a half a game that separates the 1 and the 7 seed. The Lions are 7-5. They play the Cowboys, I believe, Thursday night. Massive, like, must-win game. Then they go play at the Rams. If they don't go at least 1-1 in that stretch, I mean, they're basically done, right? I don't know if 10-7's going to cut it.
I'm looking at Goff's contract right now. His cap hit shoots up to $69.6 million.
You'll be restructuring that into $10 million and 14 void years. Cool.
And then it's 54.6, and then it's 61.6 in 2028.
Hundreds of void years up until the point the league no longer exists. We're cool.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough when you lose all pros randomly in their prime. And the Lions are just a little bit banged up, and they're not. I still think they're a good team, but it's just been a tough year. They've had a lot of tough losses.
They have.
It's mostly been against good teams outside of the Vikings one. It's mostly been good teams that they've been dropping games too. But they're definitely not the same tier they were last year.
No, they're definitely not. And there's kind of a lot of reseeding that went on today. Like you said, Matt, the Bears are now the number 1 seed in the NFC, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But before that, let's talk about Cowboys and Chiefs. You mentioned the Cowboys are going up against the Lions here on Thursday night pretty soon. They just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who looked like they were starting to kind of figure things out, and then Dallas comes in.
Feels like this game was a talent problem on defense for Kansas City. Just feels like they didn't quite have an answer. I mean, the issue, Dallas, for whatever they are this year, now that they've traded for Williams, we know Pickens has turned himself into like a tier 1 wide receiver this season. That's how he's been playing. CD has had his issues, but he's still CD, of course. And Dak is back playing at a very elite level, whatever you want to call it. The issue that creates is if you end up blitzing Dak, he's probably going to be able to handle it. And your corners can't live on an island with CD and Pickens at the same time. But then if you rush 4, it doesn't feel like Kansas City has the talent to get home consistently outside of Chris Jones. And even in this game, like we saw Dak get heated up and throw an interception early in this one. Like it worked at least once, right? But I think a lot of the other time, you just can't get them for a whole game on that type of stuff. And eventually those guys are going to end up picking you apart if you don't have, the ability to create pressure without committing extra guys to it.
Yeah. Dallas also has a really good run game. Like their offensive line is starting to gel, but Guyton's having the best year of his career. Booker looks like a hit. Tyler Smith is a beast still. BB maybe isn't as bad as he was last year. They did a good job against the Eagles, I think, reaching those defensive tackles 2 weeks ago. That's one Super Bowl champ down. And then, you just do it again against the Chiefs. Tyler Davis gives them a spark. Javonte is just as north and south as it gets getting the tough yards, being a decent receiver. And like you said, Matt, like if you leave them one-on-one on the outside to take away the run game or to blitz stack or do whatever you need to do against that line, not only can these guys route you up, they're so good after the catch. Like that that catch and turn from Pickens into the hurdle, like
that was ridiculous.
He's
play.
A problem in all aspects.
Yeah, I agree. And it just feels like Kansas City, the blitzing is awesome. Being able to bring out different like looks and speed different guys up a lot of ways, it's good stuff. But it's not that they can do that against an offense like this that's really well-rounded. They have to do it. And eventually that catches up with you one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of the grand problem with we've talked about all of the supposed preseason contenders in the AFC, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, is they all kind of have had these underlying issues for a couple of years. They've been able to mitigate, but this year, all of those issues have started to catch up with them, either due to injury, or other teams have just gotten better. They've just caught up to them now. And so they can't exploit people in the same way as they used to.
Not quite to the level where you feel comfortable writing them completely off, right? Like Kansas City, I still think
if
is
they
a pretty
beat Houston next week, they're still really alive.
They're still really alive. Like the Chiefs completely control their own destiny, even at 6-6, I think. But they control their own destiny in the sense that they're probably in if they're 11-6 at the end of the season. And Houston is going to be a very, very tough game.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite ready to write them off, but also, I mean, the Ravens and the Chiefs both have their backs completely up against a wall at this point. And the Bills haven't played themselves quite into that position, but they also have their own problems, particularly the rushing defense. We know how that is. So we'll see, man.
The AFC
the Bills are still
the
Bills are still the 7th seed right now, you know?
Yeah. Man, the Patriots have a real shot to go a really long way.
I mean, you try to figure out who's going to win the Super Bowl right now. Last week, and I guess we'll get into it eventually. Last week, we were talking about finally a Tier 1 team, and then something went on.
Something did go on.
But
something did go on.
That part of the
I feel like or go ahead.
Go ahead and say what you're going to say about the Chiefs. I'm about to change the subject.
Yeah, it is a talent thing. Like you trade Tyreek Hill away, you still feel the implications of that. You trade him away and you get Tooney, who was arguably the best or one of the best left guards in the league. And now he's gone too. And he's the one who really was able to handle a lot of the rope that losing Tyreek dropped, right? Like he's able to kind of tighten that, and the offensive line as a whole was really good. Tackles get banged up in this game. You're playing without them. There's no Tooney. Like it really is just Mahomes hero ball. And it is crazy that they're the 3rd best offense in the league by EPA right now. I do think Mahomes is just somebody who is carrying them and can carry them a very, very long way. And Chris Jones too. Like when you think about all pro defensive tackles this year, like it's going to be a hard choice to leave one of Jones, Brown, and Jeffrey Simmons out. Jones is still that disruptive, as disruptive as anybody. So those two can still win games single-handedly, but it really is just them winning games single-handedly.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like between the roster not quite being what it was, and between, again, the 1-score games just not breaking their way.
Right. Yeah. Some unfortunate stuff.
That's how they find themselves here.
Man, if the Cowboys sneak into the playoffs, they could do some real damage. Like they could pass Philly. They could beat Green Bay after trading Micah to them. Like I think just about anything could happen. Anything could happen.
I really, at this point, I'm willing to say there's probably only going to be a handful of teams that are in the playoffs that I don't think have serious go on a run potential.
The Cowboys are a lot like the Rams, dude. They're built kind of like the Rams.
They just don't have like the defensive line through and through, like the edges that the Rams do. But I see your vision there. I mean, they've got a veteran.
True, but like Clark and Osa and Ezeraku and like. It's not that bad of a D-line.
They're a different team. They're a different team with Williams. I mean, that's just a fact. And they're just not that far out of the playoff picture now if they can keep things up. So we'll see. But I think you may have been cooking when you said they're a real threat.
Mm-hmm.
That Lions game is going to be massive.
It's going to be massive.
Huge game.
I like Dallas. I think I like think I like Dallas there. Like, I really think Dallas has gotten extremely scary to me. The two all-pro receivers, Dak, the line, the defensive line, like, bro, Ferguson.
Dude, they get through this Lions game, and then they just go Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, Giants.
Dude. Dude.
All right.
Dude. I'm scared. I'm so fucking scared, Give.
All right. Speaking of AFC Tier 1 contenders from times before that are struggling, Ravens lose to the Bengals as Burrow comes back 32-14. My biggest takeaway from this one is that you cannot lose 4 fumbles, bro. One of the worst things that you can do is lose 4 fumbles. And what was it? It was the first one. Bad job passing off a stunt, I think. And Lamar tries to turn and run and make a play, and it kind of ridiculously comes out of his hand. Then the next one likely, after it was a big scramble drill, or maybe the likely caught a scramble drill earlier in the game or later in the game, and this was a slightly different play. But likely's running for a touchdown, and then it's Zay Flowers 2.0. He fumbles, and it's a touchback. Yeah. I mean, that's a 7-point swing right there.
Jordan Battle actually got cooked on this play too, and then he chases him down. Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's incredible. I can't believe Isaiah Likely's probably the greatest tight end of all time, is what this means.
Yeah,
until Jordan Battle redeemed himself. Jordan Battle locked in. He was like, wait a second, I'm Jordan Battle. Chases him down, knocks the football out like the GOAT that he is, but insane.
And then there was the bizarre pump fake, drop the ball fumble from Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. I don't know what to. I think Lamar's a great quarterback. He's multiple-time MVP. I've had him in my top 3 quarterbacks for a while now. Cannot do that. I don't know what to make of that play. And then I think Zay Flowers had one, but the game was basically over, right?
Right.
When you combine that with, they had an interception, and they had the Bengals had 2 cover zeros or 2 really heavy blitzes where they got a sack that ended a drive, and there was another one that got tipped and intercepted. Okay, well, that's 6 possessions that we're talking about just giving up right there, and that's basically the game. To me, that was my number one analysis. I thought that the Ravens ran the ball relatively well, and I thought the Bengals got some pressure, and Baltimore made some mistakes, and ultimately, that kind of just took the whole game away from them. So you forget in football, there's just so few possessions. You get so few chances. If you blow a bunch of them, you can be a team that can move the ball, and that just costs you.
Yeah. I mean, it just sucks that the Ravens are so bad in the trenches right now. I mean, there are only 4 teams in the NFL that have less than 20 sacks this year. That's the 49ers, the Bengals, the Panthers, and the Baltimore Ravens. So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just such an ideal game for the Bengals where Burrow is back, you beat the Ravens, so you gain ground in the division that is still wide open for you.
Yeah.
And Burrow just gets to drop back and pass it 40 plus times without any risk of re-injury or anything, and he gets to knock all the rust off by just dropping back and dropping back and dropping back and dropping back. And you could really, he got better as the game went on. By the end, it was Joe Burrow's just kind of back. That step up bender that he had versus the blitz for a touchdown was super, super beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
He was moving around, evading the pressure pretty well. A couple misses to Chase, some overthrows early, not good in the red zone early. And, I think even fully healthy and fully at his peak, maybe Burrow isn't the number 1 red zone weapon, in the entire world. But in between the 20s, he got to the point where it seemed like he was pretty just locked on to everything. He had Chase on a big 9-go ball. He hit him on the sideline multiple times, not even any tee, and was just absolutely cooking this Ravens defense in a high volume way. And I think obviously you don't want every Burrow game to be like that, but I think for this first one, the fact that he got a lot of attempts probably sped up his calibration a little bit, and that's probably what he felt like at the end. So yeah, just a really, really ideal game for Cincinnati.
I was really worried that this was going to be them rushing him back because he wasn't supposed to return until like the second Ravens game, I felt like.
Yeah, we definitely had our eyes on this stretch, and this is the stretch of Ravens, Bills, Ravens again.
Well, the assumption, I think, was that Baltimore was going to be a little bit better than this, if I'm being completely honest with you, when we were looking at this stretch. And then you're like, okay, they're going to go Ravens, Bills, Ravens, right? And that's just so brutal to come back to, and they might just get played out. But Buffalo's still a really good team, obviously, and the Ravens are still a team that's going to be a huge challenge to beat any given week. They're probably not going to fumble 4 times next game. And on some level, Baltimore has also had some bizarro losses that make their record worse than it is.
Yeah, they just don't pass the eye test, though.
But they don't pass the eye test nearly as much as the Chiefs do, for sure. And if Lamar is making mistakes, it's like, dude, you need like total Lamar hero ball at this point all the time. And it's just not where you've quite been necessarily this year. I mean, he's still playing really. He's still doing a lot, but again, 2 fumbles, they just can't live with it.
He had such a weird game where
he's had a weird season.
Just weird game where, like, to some extent, it's a not his fault game. Like, especially that second quarter, just like a bunch of dumb shit happened where he made incredible throws and like they just didn't result in anything for whatever reason. But there were also times over the course of this game where it's like, lock in. Like, I don't even know what else to say besides like, are you paying attention? Like, there's somebody open, they're blitzing 5 and you have 2 routes over on that side of the ball and you have 3 blockers. So like, obviously someone's about to be open and Mark Andrews is jumping up and down, waving his hand in the air, and you just don't see him. Like, what are you looking at here? Do you just think that like it doesn't matter and you're Lamar Jackson and you can just rip off 20 yards whenever you want? So like the consistency just isn't there. Like that's what it felt like to me, where it's just like sloppiness. I
mean the pump fake, whatever, dropping the ball and losing a fumble that way, it's insane. I mean, it doesn't get sloppier than that. So
yeah, you're too good to be doing dumb shit like this.
They're still 6-6, so like tied for the division or whatever, and they still play the Steelers twice. They still play the Bengals. Right. It's a tough schedule because you've got Packers and Patriots in there too. I mean, it's not an easy stretch, but you still very much control your own destiny. But
all I'm saying,
I just don't know if Baltimore's destiny is that crazy this year, if the pass rush is this bad and the offensive line really isn't that great either on the whole. And
Lamar has taken 27 sacks this year already. His career high is 38.
Okay.
38. And he took 23 all of last year. So he's already at 27. It's just a far worse performance. He hasn't had a QBR this bad since 2021 when he went 7-5 and threw 13 interceptions. Like this really is his worst season in a while. And they can't survive that on top of not being able to get any sacks, on top of their receivers like can't really make plays on the outside.
I mean, they've always had problems at receiver, and they've always needed to rely on Lamar hero. And if they're not getting that, then it's going to be tough. But
I wouldn't be mad if that organization like cleaned house this offseason, honestly. I don't feel like they've been nearly aggressive enough, like adding to the roster. And I don't think like Harbaugh's, I don't know. I think Harbaugh would get signed by somebody else pretty quickly. Unlike maybe like Tomlin at this point. I might rather have Harbaugh, but
again, if every team in the AFC North is going to fire their head coach, the Ravens are going to end up with Stefanski and they'll win the Super Bowl next year. We know how this is going to play out. But let's move on to the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Chicago Bears were 7-point dogs against the Philadelphia Eagles. They win by 2 possessions. Their defense makes some pretty big plays, including stopping the tush push at the end of the third quarter. I mean, look, we've had our criticisms about Chicago, but Matt, you talk about how many teams are there that you feel like can't make a run. If Chicago is playing like this, they can absolutely go on a run in the NFC.
Yeah, they can.
You think so? You think they could come out of the NFC?
I'm not saying that they will, but I'm saying, like, look, they have a great offensive line. And as much as we have a disdain for their actual running backs, there's still a very effective run game because their offensive line is so damn good. And I know we're like, well, Philly's offense is sort of like fraudulent anyway, and like they need to fire Kevin Patullo like 3 months ago. But also, I think this is a perfectly good win for the Bears.
Oh yeah. I think the Bears. I definitely feel the best about the Bears now. Like I feel better about them now, having seen this game, than I did the last couple weeks. Specifically, just because Jalen Johnson came back and like he's an all-pro type corner, and I think their secondary looks really, really nice with him and Kyler Gordon and Kevin Byard looking like an all-pro, and they were even able to play a lot of man coverage against this Eagles team, which usually shreds man coverage, and yeah, have a lot of success against them. AJ Brown had some really vintage moments for sure on right, but overall, you take it. Playing this much man, Devontae Smith didn't do much. Hurts had 2 turnovers, and this was the first time in a long time he's had 2 turnovers. And yeah, I think the defense looks a little bit more legit with these guys back than it has in the last few weeks. And that combined with the way the run game is playing, and not quite the way Caleb Williams is playing right now, but some of the skills that he's flashed this year, I think he's honestly coming off his 2 worst games, Matt.
Yeah, this is why I hesitate to say that I think the Bears are necessarily going to go on a run. Caleb is still really inconsistent with an accuracy, or from an accuracy standpoint, I should say. And defensively, I think obviously they look better with Jalen Johnson, but I wonder if they have like the top tier defense that maybe some of the, like maybe like a Broncos team has, where I question the quarterback somewhat as well, but they have like an elite high level type of defense. Like maybe it could be the best, and I think that could potentially carry them. But I agree the flashes with Williams, the last touchdown that he threw in this game was unbelievable. Some of the sack evasion has been really big. He's clearly like got a creator gene in him that many guys don't. And again, like, they're going to give him time going forward. And statistically, he doesn't look that bad this year on the whole. I just left this game. I didn't leave it with the take about what the Bears are going to do in the playoffs necessarily, or how far I was going to pick them to go, just in terms of like how high I was going to pick.
Yeah. They're the 1 seed right now, but like, it's like,
what separates,
what the fuck?
Again,
they're the one.
What separates the 1 seed and the 7 seed is half a game. They're the 1 seed, and that's good, but that means just as much as like being in the playoff mix, if anything. No disrespect at all. I just left thinking that their run game had an amazing performance. I thought the offensive line generated an unbelievable amount of push with consistency. The Eagles' rushing defense has been good this year. They have good defensive linemen up there. This is not like a soft unit where they go and take advantage, because you see that all the time. Like, okay, a team can just like get really big and 13 personnel or whatever and go and run at you, and they do that against some team that just doesn't have the linebackers and doesn't have the defensive tackles and going to get flushed. Like, that's one thing. Yeah, but to go and do it to a team that I think has, I think like efficiency wise, the Eagles have had like a top 5 run defense by EPA up into this game. That's phenomenal. And that's what you hired Ben Johnson for. As much as anything, like, I look at Chicago and I say, are they getting returns out of where they invested? Maybe this isn't the Super Bowl contender year, even though they're the 1 seed right this second, but have they gotten returns out of where they invested? The answer is undoubtedly this offseason. Yes, they did. So I consider that a really big win. I was super impressed by it. And if that keeps up, then we can talk about what they'll do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's got to be their.
They're the 1 seed,
right? If you're, even if you're worried about the quarterback performance a little bit, they're obviously don't have the defense that Denver does, but they have their offensive line is probably the best in football right now.
I don't know about that. It's good, but I don't know if it's the best in football. But I do think that it is quite good. I think they were getting They were reaching Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter on all these zone plays. They were using Caleb as a rush threat to influence backside defenders and opening huge cutback lanes, and DJ Moore as a threat in the flat on these kind of split zone motions. And yeah, they just absolutely picked apart whatever it is the Eagles struggle with these change of strength motions and with these backside boots. Like they just, it was hopeless. It was just really a complete pantsing schematically. And that's sick when Darnell Wright is getting the movement that he is. Dahlman, Jackson, like Benedict, honestly, like everybody's playing well on that line.
Matt, you're muted.
Yeah, Jackson, especially on that first touchdown, was awesome. Like they as a unit were just unbelievable. So that was.
I think Wright is a little slow-footed. I think Wright is a little bit slow-footed sometimes and can fall behind the play. I think Jackson's a little inconsistent too. Like everybody's kind of good at really specific things on that line, and I'm really impressed that they've been able to gel the way they have because everybody's kind of skill is a little bit different. Like Darnell Wright and Drew Dahlman are not meant for the same scheme, but they're in it and it's working, and they're able to lean on their superpowers enough. So I do think that it's a good line playing well, and Swift and Monangai were pretty.
I thought they
were good in this game. Yeah, they were good in this game.
Really good games. I mean, maybe that's the offensive line being good, the running backs are good bias, but I thought,
or maybe the Eagles safeties being bad. Their post safeties did not really make any tackles.
No.
Makuba's hurt, and also not having like a stellar rookie season, I gotta say.
Yeah. He was getting off to an okay start.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he's had some big plays, but overall he's inconsistent and he's injured right now. I think the Bears' superpower is that, and I think their Bears' superpower is when Caleb Williams flashes his superpowers, and turnovers too. Like Byard might get another first-team All-Pro. He's leading the league in picks, and they just have a ton of interceptions this year. And now they're getting Johnson back, so they've got a lot of good things going. But their DVOA as a team right now is negative 9.5%, which I think would be the worst one seed in history by a lot. The Titans a few years ago with Vrabel were, I think, at like negative 2%, something in that range. So I don't want all the Chicago fans, maybe even listening as we record this podcast right now, saying we're the one seed. You can't tell us shit.
I want the Chicago fans saying that.
Well,
you can't just tell them you guys are negative 9%. We're good.
We're negative 9%, bro.
You're negative 9%. I'm not taking.
I do think that if the season ended today, the Bears would be the worst one seed in recent history.
I do think the one seed designation for them right now is a little far out and things are a little close. But I think that if you had told me before the season they had won 9 games, I'd say that's not bad.
No, absolutely not.
And it's not over. So I think they're having a successful season.
And this is just kind of the worst Super Bowl contender year as we've talked about at length. So maybe being the worst one seed is a great thing to be right now. Jalen Hurts, Blaiden.
What about him?
Answer. What do you think?
I think they need to fire Kevin Patullo, and then we'll be back to normal, man.
I think they need to put Landon Dickerson in whatever Stafford was in this offseason, that chamber.
The chamber.
I think it's funny that Hurts's like reputation has just basically gone out the window now that they're losing. Like I said this a few weeks ago, Blaiden, that quarterback careers are like way less of a roller coaster than they're made out to be. Like, if you believe the hype on Jalen Hurts, he's gone from better than Cam Newton to now worse than Bo Nix in the span of like a few weeks. And it's just not true. You know, like he was worse than maybe some people thought when the hype was at its high point. And he's also better than people think right now when the hype is at a low point. And really the offensive line for the Eagles is just bad right now. Like the Packers, they can kind of survive a Tucker Kraft injury because he catches checkdowns and makes people miss, and it's great, but it's more of a luxury than something essential. there are injuries like that where it's like, okay, you can kind of scheme around this, or we're getting somebody else back that compensates, like Watson or something. Losing Lane Johnson is not one of those injuries, and Dickerson may as well be out for the season. Like, he's playing through injuries right now, but like, he is so washed at this current moment that it might as well not be Landon Dickerson. So like, it's kind of just Mulata kind of out there as a good player, to be honest.
Yeah, it's certainly not been great. They sort of built this team around having a great offensive line, and sort of a lot like Detroit, and we've seen them have some similar struggles, of course, with brain drain and losing Ragnow. So yeah, it's not shocking to see the Eagles have some problems. I do think it would help to have someone else calling plays to sort of mitigate these issues better. Because the definition of insanity is just continuing to do the same thing, even though it's not working. But yeah, I agree with you that Jalen Hurts is definitely better than his current public perception. But after they won the Super Bowl, he was not as good as people thought he was then. So
I don't even think Patullo called like that bad of a game in this one. I really think Landon Dickerson
I just think in
cooked.
general, even if he can calling one or a couple of good games, but in general this season he has been a bad offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah, 100%. But like, if the line hold, like if they don't fumble the tush push, like that just didn't get called a few weeks ago against the Giants, and then this week it did. Like that was really the turning point of the game, which I guess it's Hurts' fumble, and he does own that. But like, he had some digs to AJ Brown. Like, I really don't think he played like that bad of a game. I get
his
that
interception was tough. That was a pretty tough interception.
But that was also a line problem. That was also like the line failed, and then he scrambled out, and then Byard made a great play on it. And I get what he was trying to do, like scramble drill. AJ Brown turns up field, and then like he's throwing it to Brown because it's never a bad idea. And then just like Byard comes from center field to the sideline. Like, okay. The miss to Devontae Smith on the choice route was really bad. That was really, really bad. So like, yeah, it wasn't a good hurt. And he had a couple more just bad misses, but he also had some really good throws. And I think like overall probably just gets no relief for issues with the line. And I think that it was even true going back to last playoffs when he took 8 sacks against the Rams. It's like, holy shit, Hurts is bad at avoiding sacks. And like the line just walks out of here completely scot-free of any blame from anybody because they're the Eagles offensive line, bro. They're like, they carry this mystique about them. Like, it's the Eagles offensive line. Like, how can anyone fail behind the Eagles offensive line? No matter who the fuck is on the Eagles offensive line.
That was a good offensive line.
Tyler Steed and Juergens, bro. It's not that good. Fred Johnson is out there, bro.
I could avoid sacks behind Juergens.
Me, you. But you know what's interesting? Chicago Bears, even after winning, would not have been the 1 seed in the NFC if it weren't for the good old Carolina Panthers showing up as 9.5-point dogs against the LA Rams. Matthew Stafford sets the record for most consecutive touchdowns without throwing an interception. And then the Panthers say, we've had enough. All right. They force 2 interceptions and then the strip at the end to seal the deal. Absolutely. I mean, just a huge game from the entirety of the Panthers, but obviously Derek Brown and Bryce Young are the 2 guys that are going to get the most praise from this performance.
This was awesome, man. I mean, I just started watching this game. I just don't believe that they're going to win whatsoever. I had no illusions that they were going to somehow come away. And even when they got some breaks early, I'm like, cool, but it's a long game. And, the Rams are the Rams and Stafford is Stafford. But honestly, after they got this thing done, I was feeling like this is a pretty similar formula to the Packers win, which was another major upset. At the time, I would have said, that I think I did say that's the biggest win the Panthers have had since Cam got hurt. Scratch that. This is the biggest win the Panthers have had since Cam got hurt back in 2018. They did a great job running the ball and keeping possession, slowing the game down, limiting the number of possessions, and then they won a bunch of high leverage moments. And yeah, some of that comes down to Derek Brown, who had a tip off of his head that was intercepted within the 10-yard line. And then he had a humongous strip stack that didn't ice the game, but gave the Panthers offense a chance to ice the game with one first down.
Yeah.
When the Rams were within 25 yards of the end zone. On the other end, you had 2 fourth downs where Bryce Young, like you said, Blaiden, threw 2 massive bomb touchdowns. One on that cross that McMillan got away from Forbes on, and the other deep to Coker on just a glorious, perfectly thrown deep ball. I thought as a whole, Bryce played a pretty good game. Obviously, they leaned more on the run, so I felt like for a lot of this one, they maybe just weren't asking him to do a ton at all times. And there was a moment where he took a tough sack that kind of got them out of field goal range, and they sort of frustratingly had to punt, and that was annoying. But when you make 2 really big plays, because on the McMillan one, like, he had to hold the ball and slide around, and he did a good job of that. And his pocket management, I mean, God, remember where it was at the start of his second season, how bad it was, how little he could deal with pressure. He's so much better in that regard. So we talked about Bryce last week, or maybe last episode, about whether or not the Panthers should keep him and how it's going to come down to how he plays down the stretch as far as the 5th-year option should go. This was a good move in the right direction in terms of, yeah, Bryce, we don't know what the ceiling is, but we could do worse than this. I was really, really happy with this game. And on the whole, just like the Panthers are the best they've been since I was in high school. And it's a lot of fun to watch a team that I think has a legitimate chance to win the division. They really could do it. They
Mind
probably
you, he's 30 now, guys.
And I'm 30 now. They probably have to sweep the Buccaneers if they want to win the division. It would be tough to go 1-1 even, so the odds are a little against them. And the wild card also looks a little tough too. Although they do have that win against the Cowboys, although the Cowboys have a tie, so the tiebreaker isn't going to end up mattering unless the Panthers tie. But on the whole, I loved watching Carolina get big. I mean, in humongous jumbo formations all the time, and the Rams just could not stop them. I guess I would still say that the Rams are my favorite for the Super Bowl, but this was a tough loss where, hey, you know, if they're going to get this big, why can't you match that? Why can't you stop that? I think it's a serious concern. And also, Forbes had a really tough game on the final drive. Not the final drive, but on the final Panthers touchdown drive, he had Dowdle kind of dead to right and just totally missed the tackle. And he was on McMillan and let him get away from him. So
yeah, right after the Forbes apology game. Crazy.
I know.
He's doing so good.
But yeah, the Panthers are 7-6, and they are looking pretty feisty, pretty good. They're still the 10 seed.
Right. So it's division or nothing, most likely.
Yeah.
I could really see them moving past the Buccaneers, like the way these two teams are looking recently. And this is the second really quality win that the Panthers have had. Obviously, the first one was against Green Bay, and it really just comes down to Derek Brown, man. Like,
he's unbelievable.
He had two pressures that resulted in in turnovers. Yeah, 2 pressures that resulted in turnovers in the Green Bay game. And then he more directly had 2 turnovers in this game. The ball bounces off of his helmet, like you said. The win percentage for the Panthers, the odds that they do that, went from 16% to 25% in that moment. It was a 5-point EPA swing. So huge swing in the game. And then his fumble, their win percentage went from 43% to 72%. So that's way bigger. That is, you know,
it's a massive swing. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. Even up to that point, I'm like, the Rams get the ball back with 6 minutes to go and they're down 3. And you're like, okay, this is actually kind of the perfect scenario for Los Angeles, because what they can do is they can just run the ball as much as they want and burn out the clock. And once they're in field goal range, they'll feel like there's no risk that they burn all the clock away and then they don't pick up a first down because they'll always have the option to tie it up. And that's what I figured they were going to do. But then they didn't mix in the run at all. They passed straight down there. And I guess it probably could have been fine if they scored a touchdown and then held up on the other end, because the Panthers wouldn't have been able to go to the run so heavily and would have had to rely more on a drop back passing game that they just didn't, go to as much or whatever. But yeah, Derek Brown made a huge play. It was awesome.
This is multiple huge plays.
You said earlier.
I'm generally very pro the Rams leaning on Stafford in those moments. I know that in previous games, they actually had been very run heavy in these need to have it sort of game winning 2-clock drives. And I was always like, dude, Stafford's having his best year ever. just give it to him and let him cook it. And so I'm not totally against them doing that here, even though he did have 2 interceptions. And it's maybe we should take it out of his hands if he's having an off day. If he's going to be the MVP, I think it's fine to kind of let him have those moments.
I do think that Stafford had gotten a little bit overrated coming into this game. He's great. He is a great quarterback, but touchdown to interception ratio is a bad stat. It's a bad stat. It takes the majority of his plays out of context completely. It really rewards these 1-yard touchdowns where really it's Devontae doing most of the heavy lifting, separating.
Devontae really helps here.
He really helps here, separating in a really condensed area. Stafford was 7th in EPA per play coming into the day today. He'll certainly drop down to probably 8th place after this game.
He might stay. I guess you're saying maybe Daniel Jones takes over him here.
Mm-hmm. I think that will happen. So
I don't know though, because the Rams, to go back to your previous, the Rams are running the ball all over Carolina. Carolina just has a linebacker problem, and honestly, the defensive line outside of Derek Brown is
you
not
can run somewhere else.
Not a particularly. I mean, A'Shawn Robinson got killed on a couple of runs in this game. So I was surprised that they didn't say, we've kind of got him where we want him. Let's play some clock control. Mm-hmm. They were moving the ball fine, I guess, up until their final set of downs or whatnot. But yeah, it's not a game that makes you feel great about how you were talking about the Rams last week. Not the end of the world, but not awesome.
I feel okay about it still, just because
it's fine.
Yeah, I really feel about the same way. I think if you were like, oh my God, Stafford is going to just run away with the MVP specifically, he's the best quarterback in football. I mean, JJ Watt said early in this game, they asked him what do you feel about Stafford? And he said, I thought long and hard about it, and he's the best thrower of the football I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, okay, good guys, let's calm down. Aaron Rodgers exists, Patrick Mahomes exists, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen,
so I'm
Joe Burrow.
I don't even think he's the best thrower of the football in the NFL right now. He's damn good.
He's damn good.
Nasty shit, but
he is a nasty player.
Stafford.
He is a nasty player, but he's a tier 2 quarterback right now, and he's definitely a tier 2 quarterback in the context of history. All right, and that was getting a little bit.
I do think if he won MVP and the Super Bowl this year, his legacy discussion would be very legitimate. We would be able to talk about him in the context of top 10 all time. I don't know if I would actually put him there, but I think the number of quarterbacks that have 2 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs. Is
okay, you're hitting us. This is the second time this episode. You cannot hit us with the I think they should be in the conversation. You either got to have them there, or you can't.
I was like, when was the first time I did that? I said it with the Bears too. Yes.
You can't. No more in the You can't hit us with that one.
That's because I haven't given it much thought to be does he actually belong? I have to think about where would I put him in sort of
the debate would be had, but I think the answer of would Stafford be top 10 with an MVP this year?
It would definitely be had.
And
I tweeted that out about Derrick Henry. I said if Derrick Henry has a similar year last year, we're going to have a conversation. And I got so many quotes. He's like, that's not saying anything at all, bro. Which is
I made that tweet about Stafford, and people were like, bro, he's like top 5 all time. I'm like, okay.
People would have the better than Rodgers conversation, and I would not be.
Dude, if he wins the Super Bowl and an MVP, we'll have a conversation. Anyway, I don't think
still could do both of those things.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, it's just one game. It's tough. It's particularly tough this year not to be reactionary about the NFL because like everybody is so close together and everybody has such big issues a lot of the times that when they lose, you're like, okay, well, so-and-so like they have like a bottom 5 pass rush. Okay, this team has like a bottom 5 run defense. That's just going to kill you. This team's offensive line is a mess.
Yeah. This guy has a stinker game that sucks. Like, so he's
okay. This team's quarterback is Daniel Jones with a broken leg. You know, it's like it's easy to make big sweepings, but like at the end of the day, NFL teams are NFL teams. It's one game. Stafford had a tough one today in a couple of ways, but even then, like he still made a lot of great plays. It's just that a lot of high leverage plays went against LA. So many, and it's the exact same way that they got the Packers, where it's like I kind of feel like the Packers were the better team, but the Panthers just made the moments.
What level of threat are the Panthers if 5 is like the 2023 Ravens or like 2024 Eagles and 1 is, the Browns this year? Like, where are you? What wanted level? What amount of stars are you giving this Panthers team? Like,
could have picked any other.
Team. Okay, I think their run game is 3. They're a pretty legit running team at this point. You can say their receivers on the whole, I think, are actually pretty decent. I like the Coker-McMillan pairing right now. I think Young is capable of having games like this, but he's also capable of having games like the one he did against the 49ers, right? That I didn't think was great. Ultimately, the defense has a J.C. Horn. They've got a Derek Brown, but their pass rush is still pretty rough outside of Derek, or the occasional Derek Brown pressure that creates a big play or whatnot. Mm-hmm. I'd say the threat level of like what? Like game to game?
Going into the playoffs.
Going into the playoffs. You know how I said there'd be a handful of teams and I'm like, I don't think they can win the Super Bowl? If the Panthers won their division, I would probably say like, and I don't want to be saying this after such a sick win. This is a nasty.
I'm just saying, like, well, no one can figure out the
Super
Panthers,
Bowl odds.
Right?
Okay, probably not
Super Bowl odds. Not Super Bowl odds. Like, just how threatening are they? Because no one can figure them out, right? Like when you think they're gonna
because they have heart.
5 threat level 5.
Threat level 5. Don't sleep on their heart. From a game-to-game standpoint,
scary.
They can win any game.
Level, bro. I think I've seen worse playoff teams than this. I think I look at the star power that they do have, like, and on their line they have some. Like, I think Damian Lewis is like a star guard. Like that guy's playing as well as any guard in football right now. The running back duo, Tet, Brown, Horn. Like I'm like, this is like I've seen worse playoff teams than this. Like. I tend to lean on the side of the fence that like they've established themselves as good after this win. Like they're not a bad team that wins some weird ones. They're more a good team that loses some weird ones. That to me is more how I feel about them.
They enter the bye week here.
Like losing against the 49ers is not that bad. Like the 49ers are good.
No. It's not that bad.
They did lose to the Saints, not that one's worse.
The Saints is tough, and you're speaking in a way that is jinxing them to lose to the Saints off of a bye on December 14th. Like that's you gotta stop jinxing my fellas. I don't know, man. I kind of have a mixed feeling. I think they're just a solid team. I think they're just solid. I tweeted it out before the season at one point. I said they've gone from scrappy to solid, and everybody knows. And you know what? They were scrappy, and now they're solid. But I don't think a team with this pass rush and a quarterback who plays hot cold is going to go on a big playoff run or anything. Nor do I think that was the expectation coming into the season for them.
No,
right?
Absolutely.
They still need to add more talent on defense. You did. I forgot.
I thought we were going to get like kind of a Bryce backslide in the defense would like. I did not think Derek Brown would like be this good and have this direct of an impact on winning. I was like, yeah, there's still going to be a bad defense and the bad offense, and they've kind of proven me wrong. Like this run game is a lot better than I thought. This defense is a lot better than I thought. Like the fact that they have one of the best run defenses really in the league, like this, their rushing success rate this year is like pretty elite overall, and Brown's at the heart of that. So they've definitely surprised me. And Bryce, like, I get all of his numbers look completely dog shit, and that hasn't really changed this year. But it's like I do think Bryce has some traits that make him valuable enough where if you can get him on a cheap contract on the back end, he can still be a productive starter. Like you can't sign him to the mega deal. That would just be a disaster. You've already kind of done that with a draft pick. I talked about this last time, but I
was so hyped that they won this game, and I just didn't expect it at all. And shout out Mike Jackson for the pick 6. Shout out Lathan Ransom for the 11 tackles and the sack and the massive
emotional hedge, man.
He was crushing. Who was it? It was Kyron Williams. He crushed Kyron Williams like a couple of times in this one. It was awesome. He's awesome.
Kyron tried to juke him out, and like mid juke, he just got absolutely folded. And I'm like, next time you're meeting Latham Ransom in the alley, like you might just want to not try to make him miss at all, because it hurts so bad when he hits you that you might just want to brace yourself for that. So that's the kind of hit that you feel the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. Shout out to him.
Now let's talk about the other reseeding that happened in the NFL playoff picture. The Houston Texans beat the Indianapolis Colts, and the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Tennessee Titans, which now means the Jacksonville Jaguars are leading the AFC South.
Yeah.
Despite the Colts starting off as like the best team in the NFL, best team in the AFC, number one offense, Theo, you were saying, like ever, according to EPA and DVOA or whatever. And now they're sitting at second, and they are in, I think, very real danger of missing the playoffs entirely, with the Texans beating them and being just a game back on them in this division right now. I'm very concerned because like Daniel Jones made some nice throws today, but he's playing injured. Like there is some very real concern to be had with this Colts offense, the way they've looked sort of the last few weeks.
I didn't catch this game, for the record. How did Daniel Jones look on what I would figure would be a gruesome injury, right? I mean, I feel like that would be brutal to play.
Dude, he made some throws, and I'm like, dude, those are like the best throws I've seen all year.
He didn't. I thought it was gonna be like over after the first drive. Like Will Anderson lined up like 5 yards behind the center and then just rushed the center with a running start and like bowled him over. And Jones like tried to throw a check down and it fell short or something like that. Or he just got sacked. I can't remember. And I was like, bro, Jonathan Taylor saved us game, right? Like he's going to have to be the MVP here. But they just kind of kept throwing, and Pierce started to cook, and Downs made some great plays. And like, they honestly stayed afloat against a really tough defense on the arm of Daniel Jones. Like they did not do what I thought they'd do or what I wanted them to do, and just like hand it to Jonathan Taylor over and over again for the rest of the game. And maybe in some games they should have done that and they didn't. But this game, they've really stuck with their high pass rates on second and long situations. And analytically, that's the correct move, because running is typically less efficient than passing is, even when you have Jonathan Taylor versus when you have Daniel Jones. So like they're sticking by that philosophy. And in this game, it did give them a chance. Like it did kind of shine through as a good way to approach it. It gave them a
chance in this. Like this is to me a very high EPA, very low success rate game. Like they got the big moments. They had a couple huge throws to Downs, like you mentioned, to Pierce. The touchdown to Pierce in the second quarter, that's like the throw of the year. That was insane. And it also a great tracking play by Pierce as well. But I'm still anti high pass rate for this team on like down to down basis. I'm fine to give it the occasional lob because you have those high-end receivers and you can make those kinds of plays. But I think it limits the overall success of the offense to just drop back at the rate that they do.
Yeah, overall, their run game has been so outlier successful this year that I see where you're coming from looking at the whole sample size of the season. But in this game specifically, they were at 0.15 EPA per pass, negative 0.28 EPA per rush attempt. Now, I think one of those was like a fourth down where they fumbled the snap and then Taylor picked up the fumbled snap and tried to get
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, they tried to motioned Tyler Warren and tush push with and it ball just pops out from behind him and John Taylor's like, what? He just picks it up and loses like 6 yards. Oh my God, yeah. No, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I know that's gonna go against Taylor's like EPA numbers and it's gonna be a disaster.
Yep, it did. It hurt his glorious EPA. He had some really nice runs still, and some of those passes were screens to him that popped. I think overall, like the Colts played well. The Colts don't necessarily look like they're completely collapsing as much as like they've had some bad luck. Like there was a really important, really bad penalty that happened in this game. They missed an extra point, which prevented them from being able to tie when they had a chance to tie at the end. Like this was a bad breaks game for the Colts for sure. Sauce Gardner left and came out in a boot, which is not good.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's a bunch of L's, and they're still playing without Buckner. Maybe he can come back soon. So I still do believe in the Colts' ability to kind of to resume good play. I don't think this is like a game-ending 11-0 Steelers skid. I really do think they can pull it back together. They're still really controlling their own destiny, but
it's going to be
tough, play the Jaguars twice.
They play the Jaguars twice. They've lost 2 in a row now, 3 of their last 4. They have not beaten like a really good team since week 2 when they beat Denver.
Yeah.
Like that's their wins are against Miami, Denver, Tennessee twice, the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Chargers, and the Falcons. They lost to the Rams, the Steelers, the Chiefs, and the Texans.
Yeah. For sure.
It's like every time they get challenged, they can't pull it together. And
they've been in those games though. They haven't been getting whooped or anything. They're all 1-score losses. But I mean, I won't lie. If Gardner is out for a long time, I mean that's like a disaster.
Yeah,
it is.
Obviously, it wasn't a 1-year trade, but like you made that move and were aggressive because you're like, hey, we're having a heck of a season right now. And we want to go, try to give it its very best shot. So it would be a huge bummer. I'm rooting for them still. But yeah, I'm concerned. And they only play real teams from here on out.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah, this is Jaguars, Seahawks, Niners, Jaguars, Texans.
The Jags have the lead on this division. And the Colts go, like you said, Matt, Jags, Seahawks, Niners, Jags, Texans. The Jaguars go, obviously, Colts. They go Jets, Broncos, Colts, Titans. They've got 2, at least on paper, gimmies with the Jets and the Titans. And the Texans, who are a game back, go Chiefs, Cardinals, Raiders, Chargers, Colts. They've got the Cardinals and Raiders in there. And shoot, you might be able to throw the Chargers in there with the status of their offensive line. Like, they're both the Jaguars and Texans have substantially easier a substantially easier final 5 games than the Colts do. I'm like, I want to believe in them. Like, Jonathan Taylor's my GOAT, but we're entering very possible miss the playoffs territory.
We are. And look, like Will Anderson is my GOAT too. Like that guy with Hunter and Settle and Stingley, like they did not throw at Stingley at all today until the last play, and then he had a breakup. Like this is a very legit Texans defense, and if they like become some historic unit for a playoff run, like that would be a cool run. That would be a cool ring if the Texans could get it together. I think Stroud was inconsistent today.
He did not look 100%.
I don't know. I think Stroud, I think we might just be at a point where I'm accepting that his pocket movement is a weakness and he just kind of has moments where he does the wrong thing, and like his shaping of the pocket, like the 3D modeling and how to get through it, is just kind of like rudimentary in his head. Because he had some bad pocket management moments today, but he also had like many really high end ball out quick rhythm throws, super accurate plays. So it's like, I think he's just kind of like good at a lot of things outside of pocket movement. And that's like,
there were just some throws where I felt like it, like the Hail Mary before halftime. I'm like, dude, I thought Dylan Gabriel would have had a better shot.
His pick was quite bad.
I'm just like, there's some throws where I'm just like, it just doesn't look like he's all the way back yet, like physically. So that's the only thing that I'm a little worried about but the pocket management is still definitely something to keep an eye on, because that's been a consistent problem.
He really made some great throws though. Like he really back foot hits, ball out, like boom, timing, accuracy. Like, wow, Stroud is great. And then it's like, wow, Stroud really needs to step up and through there instead of like running straight backwards or straight outside into the outstretched arms of a defender. Like, but hey, he got it done. And overall, I think he's still a positive force at quarterback with the help of a really great defense that makes playing offense pretty easy. Woody Mark's still a really good answer, especially with his pass pro. The line is starting to gel to the point where like they're not full starting every play like they were against the Seahawks. So I really don't know who's going to come out of the AFC South. Like it's a lot of even teams there.
It's a very tough division. Maybe the Titans will come out of it.
I think they're eliminated.
They're eliminated. They're 1-11. It's over.
Maybe next year.
But Broncos Commanders 27-26 overtime thriller. We had two crazy teams that won as underdogs, and we almost had a third here with the Commanders possibly taking down the Denver Broncos, but they didn't quite get it done. But I think on a grand scale, this does show that the Broncos are gettable. Like, as much as we want, well, you're like we know they've been gettable big time.
We have
the Jets almost got them.
This is their fourth one-score game in a row, including one to the Raiders. We've known that the Broncos are gettable. Yes. I don't feel like that's the question. This feels like a game where they're very much like the team that we know them to be, where Bo can make some really brutal mistakes, including.
But Bo had the diving touchdown, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Overall, played well for the first half and in overtime. So like, good job, I guess, against the Commanders defense, but I don't know. They are gettable. They're not quite, I would say that they're a little bit like the Eagles last year with the line and the defense, but like they just don't have Saquon or AJ Brown or Devontae Smith and I still don't think they quite have Jalen Hurts. So they have to hope for the bye. They just keep getting these games, and then they just have to hope that the AFC really, really sucks, because I don't think this is an all-time type of team. But you just don't know this year. You just don't know. And Surtain is crazy, and Benito's pretty crazy, and you just maybe this is the type of year where you can win overtime thrillers through the playoff into the Super Bowl. Like I just. If ever there was a year.
I think they're within range. I think their offense is a little inconsistent, but probably around average. I mean, I feel like they have a decent run game, and their efficiency through the air. Well, like, again, I worry about Bo a little bit, is still decent. And their defense, I would say, I'd say it's elite. You know, I think that's a formula that can get it done. I don't think there's some they would be some like stereotypical one seed where you're like, this is a clear tier 1 contender. But I also don't think that about like basically anybody right now. So, I think this was a wonky one. I was mostly impressed by how hard Washington fought in this one. Getting a touchdown called back and then Mariota stepping up and hitting another deep shot to Debo right after him. I'm like, okay. Part of it was Riley Moss just kind of misjudged the ball in the air, like he held up and stuttered. I guess I don't know where he thought it was going exactly, but still, I was kind of disappointed they didn't win and hit that 2-point conversion just because of how much heart they showed.
Yeah, you gotta respect him for going for it there. It's all heart. That
they had that 3rd and 25 they picked up. They were really balling, man.
That pass interference they got on 4th down, dude. Oh my goodness! Like I can't even believe Mariota got out of that to the point where he could even get the throw off.
That was crazy. The degree of difficulty for everything Washington did was 10 the entire night, and they almost won. Like, the Broncos really didn't. They made plays. They made it really tough. They were contesting. They were pressuring, and they were getting the foul calls, honestly, too. And Mariota just kept pushing. He had 50 pass attempts and also led the team in rushing. Like, this was just Mariota putting it all on the line and honestly doing a pretty good job against a really tough defense. Like, it was one of the games of the year. It was one of the best games of the year, no doubt.
It was sick.
I do want to say the play call at the end, the horrors. I think that's horrors of mesh revealed. You guys know my vendetta against this play, that it's a mid play mesh.
You're wrong. You just don't play enough. You don't play enough video games.
I don't play enough video games. I've seen it cost the Bills a game, and now I've seen it cost the Commanders a game. It's in the mud right now.
Was it the play or was it the result of the play?
Well, I think we can blame the play for the result of the play. You know what I mean?
I don't think not necessarily. What's your favorite play?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And then you're telling me no intercept. No one's ever had the snap go above their head. Is that on the play call? No, because the players can screw up. So it was all the players screwing.
I guess not. I like Mills. I think that's my favorite route concept. You capture the safety and hit the post. That one's pretty elite. What I don't like about mesh is that it's the same length of a go ball in terms of how long it takes to clear and how long the receivers have to go.
It's
5 yards downfield.
Go ball.
In fact, it takes longer.
No, it doesn't, bro. Not
yes,
if you
it does.
If you let me install it, it doesn't.
If you let Matthew spawn out.
If they play zone, it's just fucked. And then this one
we sit down, bro.
I said on Twitter, this is the horrors of I said mesh is in the mud or it's on a horrible run. And then people were like, oh, it got somebody open. It's it also turned Benito loose, running straight at Mariota unblocked. It's I'm not surprised that he spiked that shit
that's in the play, bro.
Man. I'm not surprised Benito spiked that shit into the stands. He's kind of good.
He's okay.
Maybe block him with Tunsil, because that was really working. Maybe that's a better play call.
Maybe. I'm looking at the ESPN playoff machine right now, and if you just have it pick all the guys who are favorited to win right now, the AFC playoff picture is in order: Denver, New England, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Houston, LA, Buffalo, Houston. The NFC playoff picture is Chicago, LA, Philly, Tampa, Seattle, San Francisco, Green Bay.
Green Bay mentioned. I'm happy. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'd rather it's not be the 7th seed, I guess. But that's interesting. I really have no idea what will happen. And man, I'd be sick if I was a Chiefs fan. No one can win these one-score games against the Broncos, and you can't win any of the one-score games. And no one feels bad for the Chiefs fans, because that's just the complete opposite of how it's been.
Chiefs play the Broncos again week 17. They can get a one-score win there.
But it's just too late now. They've already... that game is probably not going to flip the division unless something crazy happens. But I'd just be pulling my hair out if I was a KC fan. Can somebody please execute at the end of the game against the Broncos? Or can they just fuck up? Bo, please just fuck up one more time, and he doesn't.
Mm-hmm. You guys want to call it? I'm exhausted.
Yes.
It's bedtime. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Stay Hot. As always, make sure you're tuning in to the Patreon, tuning in all the other episodes we got coming out. And until next time, we will catch you on the flippity flop.